I pastor more people now
Yeah.
than I ever have before. I mean, I'm not confined to what we would say as a Sunday 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. service, but now I get to pastor business leaders and very high performing faith-based entrepreneurs who one of my guys has 14,000 employees. So now not only am I impacting an individual, but now that influence and impact goes throughout his entire or her,
Mm.
the case may be, their entire organization. And so the ability to be able to lead the movement of faith-based entrepreneurs that I get to around the country is I think even more impactful than what I was doing as a pastor of a local church planting and pastoring churches.
Right. I 100% agree. I mean, obviously, those tuning in know that messengers, that whole movement is around marketplace ministry and what that actually looks like. And to know the ripple effects, right? I don't think when pastors are looking at like how many butts are in seats or they're counting those numbers, they forget about how many people those butts touch. Hopefully not. That sounds weird. But those people who are sitting in
No.
that chair touch every single day. And so to think about them as leaders, truly disciple makers, but to do it in the corporate arena is even that much more vast because the amount of people who potentially will never walk into your church, but will 100% come and listen to a show or come to an event, or again, just going to be blessed by that leader of leaders that you're pouring into.
Mm. No, that's good. It's so good. And the thing that we're seeing is we're in an age and a movement right now, Tamra, and I know you see this to where the social media world, and I can put this up and claim I'm this or claim I'm this.
Hmm.
All of those things we've seen it. I've seen it in the past 4.5, 5 years since I've built this. You see so many unauthentic people
Yeah.
that when authenticity enters into your world, it's like, holy cow, there's
Yeah.
something here. I'll never forget. I'll rewind back to right now, literally this week, 3 years ago, 4 years ago,
Okay.
we were in Vegas at Bradley, and I was doing one of my boot camps at Brad's space. And
Okay.
Gary Brecka came in and spoke. He's been a dear
Yeah.
friend for
He's
now
amazing.
over
Yeah.
4 years and helped me on my entire health journey. And I'll
Awesome.
never forget, Gary did a talk that day, and his talk was about a study that came out of a magazine that he had read where they measured the electromagnetic frequencies that we emit as human beings.
Yeah.
And he said the highest frequency recorded was authenticity. And it's
Mm,
when somebody has an understanding and a deep belief in a subject and a deep passion about a subject. And when you have that level of authenticity is so high that when you get in a room and you communicate with people, whether it be a podcast, whether it be a telephone call, whether it be a text message,
yeah.
whether you're interacting face to face with your employees or at church, there is something that happens where they're like, oh man, I want to connect with this individual. And Gary also said that day, I'll never forget, I was standing there in the back of the room going, this is why I do what I do. And this is why God's doing what he's doing,
Yeah.
is because
Yeah.
there is a deep understanding and knowledge of a subject and a great passion
Mm.
for a subject. And he said the highest frequency that we seek after as human beings is also that frequency of authenticity.
Wow. Well, it's interesting because I think people define authenticity different than what that authenticity element is meant to be. I think they're looking at it like, oh, the more I air my dirty laundry, they're paralleling it with vulnerability. And they're like, I'm so authentic. You know, the real me. And I'm
Right.
like, I don't think that that's the intention of where it goes. And so to be able to parallel this definition of knowledge bleeding with, with passion, that's ultimately power. Isn't that what Jesus is all about? Like he was
Yeah.
the most authentic. He had knowledge of a God that most people didn't even understand or have relationship with. And he had an element of passion that we were just like barely becoming palpable with when he was walking on the earth. And I think even now the church is still not fully palpable of what his passion is, right? The passion of the Christ.